So lately, I've really been seeing this repeating pattern of needing to go back to the basics, things that tools and tricks, both in my mental health practices and my spiritual practices, that honestly, part of me almost feels as if I had moved past, that I don't need to return to. Yet, in times where my energy is low, where I'm struggling, where things feel difficult or hard or impossible, or I don't know what to do next or where to go next. I don't know if you can hear my cat meowing in the background. Um, but I find myself with the need to go back to the basics, to fall back on the tools that help me get to where I am now. But the reason that they're the basics is because they're the foundations. And when things feel unstable, it's always a good idea to go back to your foundations, to go back to the roots, and to build from the bottom up, build a steady surface to walk on to help you build your path. And what this looks like for me might be different for what it looks like for you. But for me, it's getting back to a much more regular art practice, which, also aligns with my goals. It's doing more shadow work around cleansing my energy, whether it's taking the time to touch the tree and let it, because I have my favorite tree that I talk with every single day, but to just ask it to help cleanse my energy and to pull some of those negative emotions, let the earth alchemize it, because that's what it does. It's what trees do. It means going back to some of my DBT and CBT skills, dialectical behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, which really helped when I, couldn't get out of my head. It means not expecting myself to be able to go from 0 to 60 and meditate for 30 minutes like I'd gotten up to at one point. It's going for 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes and actually giving myself the time to work on the shadow work and to think through the thoughts properly. For you, that might look like journaling. Journaling never really worked well for me, and so it's the mental processing of the journaling. It's, for me, following all the little trails of thoughts to see where they go and see, what the wounds are that are coming up, that are causing the issues. Sorry. It's taking a breath when I need to take a breath. It's giving myself the grace to just be and not always have to be 100% and go, 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 go. It's getting back to my morning gratitude practice where I try to think of at least 3 things to be grateful for before I even open my eyes. That's one I've definitely let slip over the last 6 months, but a week back into it, it definitely has helped. I have seen, my mindset shift. It's, talking with my therapist and coming up with strategies to work through a lot of what's showing up right now in my life, which is fear. And, I have to acknowledge it instead of hiding from it. And I've been doing a lot of hiding from it. It's, one of the basics for me is taking a step back from social media. And that has to come differently, because part of what I am trying to build for myself is a business where I can show up online and help people. In planning my business, I'm starting at the basics. I'm coming up with a mission statement. I'm figuring out what my why is. I'm trying to really concretely see, okay, who is my audience? Who are the people I want to talk to? And as somebody attuned to the energetics of collective groups of people, I see the patterns, I recognize the patterns, and they don't show up in one area. It shows up in all the areas. This need for basics shows up right now in my witchcraft practice. It's showing up in my energetic practice of keeping my mental mind clean. It's showing up in my mental health practice in going back to the basics of my finances and, trying to figure out the bare bone roots of that. Sometimes I think we get a little lax or into habits that we just kind of fall into, and they might be things that we did previously that we had stopped, or they might just be, maybe finances are up for a few months and you get used to a standard way of living, and when you see that drop in pay, your spending doesn't drop, which is something that I've gone through and, still working through. But regardless, finding ways to go back to the basics, to, look at my old journals to see where I was, how I got to where I am now, and how that's going to look moving forward. That's where I am. So, maybe this is your sign that right now is the time to go back to basics. If this resonated, please let me know. I really do want to start making more of these videos to show up a lot more consistently online, not necessarily in the way that I'm posting on a specific schedule, but to show up more regularly, be it in smaller, big ways, and to show up authentically with my real voice, my real thoughts. So hopefully you can subscribe and comment, and I'd love to see you in the next video. Thanks.